It's Offside with Hawes and McGuire.
Hey, and welcome to Offside with Hawes and McGuire. I'm Hawes.
I'm McGuire.
All right, we have a big thing today. We got it because the first week of hockey is now completed, right?
Yes.
And we got some stuff to talk about. Now
It's our second show.
It's our second show. Now, while I was editing the first show,
Yes.
I was looking at myself and I thought, what a fat bastard. Okay, and so
You're a fine figure of a man.
This is the thing. The problem is the figure is that of a bowling pin. Okay, and I'm a 7-10 split, and I'm not enjoying it. So I've started a diet. So,
Really?
Oh yeah.
Like legit,
So
though?
legit. I started a diet.
I'm waiting for the punchline.
No. There's no real punchline. I'm telling. I've started a diet. So I'm really like I'm gonna be ornery for the next little bit, right? Because
Man,
it's
when he doesn't get his food, folks.
it's so hard. So I started on like Wednesday.
Why don't you just follow my lead?
Well, not eating. So this is the problem is I just look at that. I know. Oh, we didn't crack. So we should crack. We have to start every episode with a crack.
Close enough.
Okay.
Doesn't
All right.
matter.
Here we go. All right. Welcome to Flatbed.
Hey!
Wrong show.
That's another show.
That's a different
that
show.
That was fun, though.
That's right. So we have, by the way, throwing a plug out to Redneck Lager, my beer of choice. Liam actually has been drinking Molson Export since it was actually an import. That's how long he's been fucking drinking it.
That's good line. That's good line.
Now, so I start the diet, right?
Yeah.
So Thursday, I'm doing this Wednesday. I drop the episode. I go, holy, I can't. That's it. Thursday, I'm on a diet. Okay. So Thursday night playing hockey. I go to the guys. I'm not going out. Fuck that. I'm not having beer in the dressing room. I am not going out for wings and such. Right?
Yeah.
And so that's it. I come home. I'm really good. Okay. I can starve myself basically all day Friday. So I'm 2 days in, and I'm like, you know what? Not too bad. So, but Friday night we have a party. Okay. Kristen was hosting. Probably it was about 20 people, and we had hors d'oeuvres and stuff. I ate my body weight. It was like I just lost all control, and it was just so. And I don't know if that's good or bad, right? But
it's good.
She had these little.
They probably tasted great.
Oh, it tasted great.
Less feeling.
Unbelievable. Oh, it's a beer commercial.
Oh yeah, right.
Remember that? No, it's unbelievable. So from now on, I'm shooting us from like about here.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
We're gonna trim this so that I whatever it is until I lose weight. So, but I'm gonna lose weight. So I weighed myself.
Okay.
I have the weight, and I'm gonna try to lose 10% of my body weight, which is freaking a lot.
I'd like to put on about 5 pounds.
Fuck, I can lend you it. Like I can tell
if you could do that.
If you could do that, imagine that.
I'd be
because there are
fantastic.
people who are like drastically underweight,
Yeah.
and they look, and I want to shoot them, right? It's like I see, and there's guys I friggin' play hockey with, and they're 60 years old, and they're skinny as a rake, and they chow down and nachos and and then I look at a freaking slice of pizza, and my stomach goes, oh man. Oh, I am barrel chested. So anyhow, that's it. So the first week
All right.
was very devastating to me from our show perspective.
Okay.
But in hockey, what a crazy week.
Crazy week.
And we have some things to talk about because you put together like a little list.
Oh yeah.
And
There'll
so
always be
you want to
something.
go in order?
You can pick whatever you want.
Okay, well I want to go and talk about how disappointed I am in the Edmonton Oilers.
Oh yeah.
Like that was
less than scintillating start, to say the least.
I mean, hey, listen, the season's long.
Yeah.
But you don't want to walk into the season shitting the bed, especially when there's so much hype.
Yeah, I mean, that's a bad start, obviously, for sure. I think everyone gave a mulligan on game one. It's going to happen 8-1, and probably everybody, me anyway, thought they were going to turn around, if not fully reverse the score,
right,
at least get the W. And to lose again. Now, if you recall...
Didn't they've lost their third game?
No, they just played 2, I believe.
No, I think they played a third.
Who was their third one?
Like last night.
No, they didn't play last night.
All right. Well, I thought they were 0 for 3.
Last night was just 2 games.
Okay. All right. You know what? I could be wrong.
Anaheim beat Carolina, and Ottawa beat Tampa.
Ottawa beat Tampa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen, that Ottawa-Carolina game scared the bejesus out of me.
Well, it didn't scare anything out of me. And I told everybody and their brother publicly and privately that Ottawa would win minimum 4 out of 5 in their homestand, which they will. They're well on their way. You can see they've dominated both games. They're going at least to the semifinals this year. We'll talk about that later.
Oh, yeah.
The Edmonton Oilers, auspicious start. Certainly no major panic button push yet, but not a good start. Jack Campbell's horrible game 1. They blew it in the third period of game 2 at home on a Saturday night. Very, very un-Edmonton-like based on the last few seasons.
You have last few seasons, but if you go back 4 seasons, like fans were throwing their jerseys on the friggin' ice.
Well, yeah, because they sucked. And they missed the playoffs in Connor's second year. They've made the playoffs every year since. They've lost to the team that's gone on to win the cup the last 2 years. We talked about that.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that Edmonton are still going to be a force to be reckoned with. Sometimes it just can happen, Chris. It's you're off for 3 months, 3.5 months, whatever the case. You come out, you maybe think it's a little automatic. You got the 2 best players in the world. And you just think things are just going to fall right into place. Well, they haven't.
No, they haven't.
But I suspect that they will. No judgment on any team or player should be made in any way, shape, or form until you're 2 or 3 weeks into the season.
You know what? And I would actually dare say longer than that.
Well, listen, most people take the American Thanksgiving. And then Christmas,
exactly.
And then the All-Star break, and then the trade deadline. There's sort of your 4 breakups of a regular season.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? I think that there's that acclimatization to the gameplay, right? And you have that. Now we'll talk about the rookies, okay, and they're acclimatizing to the NHL and how that's going. But we as disappointed as I have been with Edmonton.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, don't be too disappointed.
Well, okay.
It's 2 games.
I know, but it's,
it's not a good start.
I was expecting more, given that I have certain people in my pool, and I was expecting a little bit of performance out of them. Okay? Yeah. And then yet, you have Vancouver on the other side.
Yeah.
Okay? I mean, honestly, God, I was not thinking of Vancouver as being anywhere near a competitive team.
Yeah. And they may very quickly show us that that's the case.
Okay.
But I did predict that they would have a much better season and would be a playoff threat this season. That's all. They've got to stay healthy.
Right.
I mean, they lost Brock Besser mentally and physically most of last season. He devastated when his dad passed away. Well, listen, they're human beings, And
they are robots.
Yeah, they're robots. Just go out and perform, especially if we have you in the pool. And Pedersen just absolutely fell off the turnip truck last year. Now he's leading the scoring, in the first 7 days of the NHL. So let's just everybody have a Coke and a smile. They're having a good start these first few games. Like I said, give it a few weeks, but you'd rather have the 2 wins than not have the 2 wins.
Oh, yeah.
And to do it against Edmonton in a home and home against McDavid and company, Draisaitl and everybody. Yeah. That's a great start for Vancouver.
Yeah.
And I'm happy for them. That's awesome.
That's 2 games out of the 8-game series, right? Like they play 8.
No, they only play 4 or 5. I think it's 4 or 5.
I thought
now.
There's 8 in that division.
No.
Okay.
No, it's not like that anymore.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
Sadly,
I don't keep up with those.
Wish
things.
it was. It's not. It's not.
Yeah.
Like Ottawa and Toronto are only going to play 4 times this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's all right though. I don't care. I don't. Which brings us to Toronto, and what can we say about the performance
Phenomenal.
of Matthews?
Well, 2 years ago, we won the Rocket Richard, so it's not like he's coming right out of left field.
Right.
But right now, it's precedent-setting. He's only the 5th guy in NHL history to start with back-to-back hat tricks.
Yeah.
And 3 out of the... I'm going to sneeze. Why do
No one said the number 69.
Why do I always sneeze?
It could be. Maybe you're allergic to the dog.
I'm not, though. No, I'm not allergic to dogs. No.
So, by the way, you can't see. She's off camera, but Lucy is with us.
Yeah.
All the time. I'll post a picture of Lucy.
You should.
You can see what she's like. But she's with us every time we shoot. So she's the unofficial mascot. And incidentally, she's accepting sponsorship opportunities as well.
Yeah, all you got to do is feed her.
That's right.
It's a big one.
Yes, it's a big, yeah. You got to feed her and her owner. Okay, so if you can handle that. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, we were talking about.
Yeah, look at back-to-back hat tricks. I mean, first of all, the game against Montreal, so much emotion. It was such an ebb and flow and everything else. Same with Minnesota too, to be honest.
Yeah.
The game kind of ebbed and flowed as well. I mean, Minnesota started with the lead. They hung around. Toronto pulled away in the third. Matthews gets another hat trick. So you got Joe Malone, Cy Dennedy, and Reg Noble all got back-to-back hat tricks, including 5-goal games, 4-goal games. This is in the first 2 games in NHL history, 1917-18.
Wow.
The other guy to do it, a little bit more modern era, Alexander Ovechkin.
Ovechkin, yeah.
2017-2018.
Oh, that's just recently. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I say recently, but in recent history.
7 seasons ago, so
Yeah.
7 including this year.
Yeah.
So for Austin to be one of only 5 guys, and 3 of them were 100 and
Some years ago?
yeah,
Yeah.
106 years ago.
So the next
It's
question
impressive.
is they've yet to play their 3rd game,
Right,
and so let's say he gets a.
they're
hat
playing
trick.
against Bedard, so
Okay.
they're probably going to light Chicago up.
Well, so let's say
Nobody's ever done that.
No one's ever done that. So
No
that
one's
would
had
be,
3 in a row to start,
That would be a record. And so for you Toronto people, I'll give you. You know what? If he does that, I will say good for you. It's nice to have a record other than the Daryl Sittler thing. Okay,
Pretty good one to have.
it's a great one to have. I watched that game. I was watching
So
that
did I.
game.
Saturday night, February
You know what I
7th,
mean?
76. Remember it vividly. Snowing like hell out in the first line. I watched in the back kitchen with my brother Sean. And Daryl, what a night.
Well, and at the time, we'll tell you this. So Daryl Sittler was a popular player up in suburb. And
Yeah.
girls. So there was a girl in our neighborhood, Andrea Simeone, who was she was an attractive girl.
Yeah.
And she's married now, lives in L.A. Her husband's a doctor, I think, or whatever.
Cool.
I still kind of keep in touch with
Right
her,
on.
like on the Facebook, right?
Do you really? Right on.
Oh yeah. Like I'm still like
Sure.
connected. Eh?
Yeah.
But she loved Daryl Sittler and would wear the Daryl Sittler jersey the
Awesome.
whole bit to school
Great
and stuff
guy.
like that. And I was never really a Toronto fan, as we know. But I remember dreading the next, like having to go to school.
Yeah.
And have to put up with the impact of her and Linda Henry. Both were huge fans, and I knew that they were going to go on about how great the game was and how Boston didn't do that well.
Oh yeah, that's right. Your Bruins,
like,
yeah.
you know what I mean, all that stuff. But anyway, all that being said,
Backup goalie. Backup goalie. What do you
that's
do?
right. Yeah, it
Dave
was Reese, right?
Yeah, he never played again in the NHL. It was his 13th and final game, and
No,
he never played again.
really.
Yeah. They sent him to the minors. Remember the old story? Sent him to the train station, but the train went between his legs.
No, I hadn't heard that. Yeah.
Poor bastard. I mean, Daryl scored a 6th one from behind the net. It was just one of those nights.
Well, you know what?
Everything
Everything went
went in.
wrong for the goaltender. Everything went right for Sittler.
Well, because the Bruins had just brought Jerry Cheevers back from the WHA.
That's ridiculous, yeah.
So Grapes didn't want to put him in. So he hung Reese out there. But, Grapes never forgave Toronto for that. And not what could they do? It wasn't their fault.
But he likes the Leafs.
He does now. He didn't then. He was coaching the Bruins at the time.
No,
so he
I know
hated
that.
everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Leafs are his team. Well, Toronto and
I would
Boston
say,
are his team. I
Yeah.
still think he's got a soft spot for the Bruins, but
for sure.
But look, Austin Matthews is pure snipe right now. The Leafs look dangerous. It's very early. They easily could have blown it against Montreal, and frankly, they didn't look good defensively against Minnesota either. But they're scoring a ton. They've got 13 goals in 2 games. Again, early sample size.
Yes.
But when you become one of 5 guys in NHL history to do something, and 3 of the others are in the first 2 games in NHL history in 1917, you're doing that's pretty good.
That's
I don't care. It's just 2 games. That's
Yeah.
impressive as hell.
no.
Look,
And you know what? And you're in the same category as Ovi.
But yeah, you're
Right.
matching something Ovi did, who's the greatest modern day goal scorer or all time goal scorer, frankly. Not only that,
He's not there yet, eh?
well, he's there in my mind. I think he's the greatest pure goal scorer in NHL history.
You think?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
You're not gonna
now-
tell me Mike Bossy, are you?
Well, I was going to say, and I was going to say Mike Bossy was a pretty prolific goal
Of course he was, but he played 10 years. Like, at some point, you have to acknowledge the fact that
Ovechkin's playing a lot longer. That's what I'm saying.
No, but this is my point. A career pure goal scorer, Alexander Ovechkin. We can't go back and just speculate because it's unfortunate Mike's back got hurt.
Right.
And he had to retire after his 10th season of 37 goals playing with a back injury. Probably would have, who knows what he would have done. You can speculate all you want. But at the end of the day, you've got to acknowledge what's hardcore right in front of you.
Right.
And the bottom line is, Mike Bossy had 9 straight 50-goal seasons, which no one else has done. Yeah. But of those 9 years, he only led the league in goals twice, Chris. Twice. Right. 7 times. Yeah, he got dwarfed by Gretzky.
Gretzky, but also Lafleur, like in the early years. Wasn't Lafleur in 78, 79? Like, wasn't
that
their year?
But I mean, it doesn't matter. The point is that, Mike, nobody would say that Bossy isn't a better goal scorer than Guy Lafleur. Of course he was. But I think Mike Bossy is probably the second greatest pure goal scorer in NHL history. Right. You want to get into splitting hairs and start talking about what you do with the Rocket, what you do with Joe Malone, what you do with these guys from back in the day. But career-wise, I'm comfortable right now, as the world's #1 NHL historian, saying that Alexander Ovechkin is the number 1 pure career goal scorer in NHL history. Because the Rocket didn't do what he did. Joe Malone didn't do what he did. Mike Bossy didn't do what he did. Joe Sakic, Pavel Bure, Brad Hull, Phyllis Mazzito, go down the list. Nobody has done what Alexander Ovechkin has done. Chris has been the goal scoring leader in the NHL 8 times. Yeah. Nobody's matched that. And now he's 72 goals back of Wayne for all-time just career. Like, forget about it. Ovi's #1. Now, Matthews has tied him to circle back to Toronto here in terms of starting 2 games. Let's see how it goes. Very early sample size, but you're a Leaf fan right now. You got to be happy with all the goals. You got to be thrilled with Matthews. You got to be a little concerned defensively these first 2 games if you're Toronto. But at the end of the day, you got 4 points. Bank the points right now, baby, and get out of Dodge.
Well, you're right. You're absolutely right. Now, it sounds like you have a bit of a man crush on Ovechkin, which gives us an opportunity to skip to our...
I hate all Russians, and I have since 72. I always will.
What are you, Harold Ballard?
No.
No, but come on. You can't hate all Russians. Like, you can hate...
hate them all. Hate them all, and always will. However, I am able to sit here and acknowledge greatness. It doesn't mean I admire the guy. Actually, I'm going to soften my stance a little bit here. Okay. Hate's a strong word, #1, and I swore minutes ago I would never use it again. So I don't want to say hate. So
you have animosity towards.
Yes, which is still quite strong towards the bulk of them and everything else politically. That's another story. But in terms of hockey, since 72, I'll never, ever, ever, ever have any type of affinity or admiration for Russian players. But I will acknowledge pure greatness. Pavel Bure had it. So did tons of them. Fedorov had it. Go down the line. How can you not watch Pavel Datsyuk and not be absolutely enthralled with what that guy did on the ice? I absolutely did. Does that mean I want him on my team? No. Does that mean I cheer for the guy? No.
No, stop. You would not take Pavel Datsyuk on your team just because he's a Russian? Come on. You know what? I got to have a drink over that. I think you're wrong.
Give me a 30-second take back on that.
All right.
I would take that.
Okay, well, let's rewind the tape. Okay.
Rewind the tape. All right. You know what? Listen, at the end of the day, I admire Ovi's, and in fact, he's become more of a likable guy. You know? It was like, who's a guy that I hated more than anybody? Kovalchuk. And then the guy comes to Montreal and he's on the outdoor rink with his son, and he's scoring in the shootout. He's averaging a point a game, and all of a sudden he looks human as opposed to a robot, which he did. And look, he did in my opinion, some of the most reprehensible things when they beat us in the World Championship in Quebec City, and was it there? Or was it somewhere else? No, it was another year where we beat them. They won that one. I think he might have got the winner. Anyway, his antics on the ice were deplorable. And another year when Canada beat them in the World Championship, that's the B tourney they play in the fall, right?
Yeah.
And Canada beat them. They left. They left the ice. They didn't stay. They were supposed to stay, finish the ceremony and everything else. They left. He's a suck, and that's why he never won a thing. But what did he look a little bit more human when he came to Montreal? Yeah, he's at the outdoor rink with the kids. He's skating around. The snow's falling. Make a postcard out of it. But you know, at the end of the day, I don't have a lot of affinity for Russian players. I never have, and I never will.
All right. Coming up next, we're gonna have Grapes and him discuss this. So this gives us an opportunity, given that love. I was saying your man crush. We're gonna cut to one of our segments, which is all about love and adoration.
Okay.
I really, 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 really like girls. I like girls. I like girls. I like girls.
Hey, welcome back to Puck Bunnies. Our choice for attractive, strong, independent women who we find really, really attractive. Okay, and not in a creepy way. Okay. So today's Puck Bunny, Liam.
Yeah.
And you don't even know this show.
No.
Is Claire from Outlander.
Never heard of her.
She's on the
or-
screen.
or
She's on the
show.
screen right now, and she
Okay.
is. It's a listen. Outlander is what I call an action television series.
Okay.
Okay, because if we watch it together, I get action. Okay, not you and I together, but I mean my wife and I.
Good.
It is.
That's great.
It's got grit. It's got historical significance. It's
Wow.
it's sensual.
Damn, it sounds like Ask Liam anything. That's
Well,
it.
that's,
I mean, you know,
well, listen, like your thoughts on it. Like, look at how, like, unbelievably
plain that she looks.
plain. You think she's plain? Oh, see, well, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know if there's a theme here. I apparently like brunettes.
Well,
Right?
I married a brunette.
You did.
And I think Liz is still beautiful today.
Yes.
So I love all women though.
Well, you know
in
what?
all hair colors. And I totally can see that you have an affinity very early on in this in these Puck Bunny clips that we're running as part of our hockey show. That you have an affinity for brunettes. It appears at this point right now.
Well,
you know,
I'll tell
she
you,
looks very nice, Chris.
She is,
but
and you know what? And she's
I've never
smart.
seen the show.
She's a doctor. She's a doctor.
I don't even know
in the
her
show.
name. What's her real name?
I
know?
I have a hard time pronouncing it, so
Okay.
We'll just leave it at Claire.
Claire.
Okay? But
Okay.
she's a doctor in the show. She represents intelligence, sensuality, leadership. She's like killed people. You should see her with a sword. She's a kick-ass chick. I'm
Okay.
telling you. And so my choice for Puck Bunny of the day,
Okay.
Claire from Outlander. But wait. We've got somebody else. We've got our Zamboni boy for you ladies out there.
He was a skater boy. She said, "See you later, boy." He wasn't good enough for her.
Hey, and welcome back to our Zamboni boy segment. And as a follow-on to our Puck Bunny, Claire from Outlander, our Zamboni boy today is Jamie from Outlander, a strapping young Scottish guy, okay, who, I mean, the women go crazy for.
Is he a Scot in real life?
I don't know.
Oh.
I have no idea. I you know what? I'm completely objectifying this guy. I have no idea his name. I just
Okay.
know that he's built.
Yeah.
Women love him.
Yeah.
I mean, and he plays this Scottish character. But, you know, and his character is quite sensitive as
Because
well.
James Doohan played a Scottish guy in Star Trek.
In Star Trek, yeah, a little different though.
He's actually Canadian.
He is, right?
Yeah,
You're right.
He was Canadian. God rest his soul.
But yeah, he's not.
He's not quite in the
Scotty.
same.
Yeah, no,
realm as this
but the women love him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And because he and you can see the pictures there. He has a rugged side to him. Like walking up, look at he is angry in that middle picture. He's angry. He's going to kick some ass right there.
Yeah.
You talk about violence?
Yes.
That's your violence right there, man. You want to see the battle of Culloden and that guy, you know, that's the one, right? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
You see that? And you know, and then you have the other one where he's, I don't know if he's bathing by a river or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Okay. You know, it's not my cup of tea, but the girls, they think he's sexy.
Well, sure.
And then there
Yeah.
he is in a kilt. And
Yeah.
he's looking there, he's posing for Kilts Are Us.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you can buy that actually $12.99 back in the day. And
Right.
that was in pounds, I think.
Okay.
But he's a good-looking guy, and the girls like him. and he's rugged and strong,
Yeah.
right? And his character is respectful, loves his wife, is very, I mean, what more do you want?
Yeah, I've never seen the show, but I could certainly say he's a good-looking dude, and I guess by all accounts, as you're saying, he's a good actor.
He's a very good actor,
Yeah.
and you know what? Like I said, the character. I only know him as the character, but for all the ladies out there, this week's Zamboni boy, Jamie from Outlander.
Is this the puck bunny?
Yeah. So, all right, we're back, and I don't know if you enjoyed our Puck Bunny Zamboni boy segment, but getting on man crushes again. Speaking of man crushes that you have, okay, I'm assuming you now have a man crush on a Toronto Maple Leaf tough guy.
Ryan Reeves.
Yeah.
Well, listen, you're not a big Twitter user.
No, not at all. No, I don't use it.
You don't use it at all. I'm a regular on several social media apps, but especially that one.
Okay.
It's a good industry app for sure, and obviously 99.9% I'm on it for hockey.
Right.
So Ryan Reeves has been trending since Game 1 against Montreal. He has not left the trending. Now, it was Game 1 because of the incident with Arbor Jackeye,
Right.
which we're going to talk about in a second.
Okay.
Game 2, because his fight with Foligno and the subsequent fallout from that on social media. So let's revisit.
Okay.
So number 1 against Jackeye. So Reeves comes out, runs around, throws hits, all legal as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Even the hit on Gooley.
No.
Gooley.
All just aggressive, not bad.
He
Honestly,
caught him in the numbers, but it wasn't 3
But it was a
feet.
turn. But it
A
wasn't
Gooley
far
turn.
away. It was a turn. I
It
saw
doesn't matter sometimes. Those still sometimes get called. I didn't think it was a dirty hit.
Right. Okay.
I didn't think it was a dirty
And
hit.
I would agree.
I had no problem with the non-call
Okay.
on Reeves on the hit on Gooley. And I had no problem with Jackeye jumping in there.
Absolutely.
Now, did Jackeye pay him a lot of respect?
he broke his hand again. No, I'm just kidding.
No, he didn't.
No.
But he didn't break his hand last
No,
year
but
either.
it's-
He injured his shoulder
Was it-
fighting
okay.
Desharnais there in Edmonton. And believe me, they'll go again. He'll destroy him. Jackeye is one tough dude. And within a year or two, he'll be the toughest guy in the NHL.
And he's a baby.
He's
20
20,
years
20
old.
21.
21.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's still
Not
young.
sure when his birthday is, but
That's
he's
still young for a.
Oh yeah, he's a kid. He's
for
a
a
kid.
defenseman.
and
in
he's
the NHL.
and he's so effective out there. He does so many things well. It's the idiotic comments on Twitter from Hab fans. The majority of the Hab fans that comment on social media have disintegrated into a bunch of crybabies, know nothing, absolutely inability to comment with any type of knowledge on the sport of hockey. It's absolutely mind-boggling. The people that think that Jackeye is an effective hockey player and just is whatever. Anyway, Chris, I
we
digress.
digress, yeah.
I got to move along. So he fights Reeves. He drops the gloves. He gets the instigator. Again, right call.
Yeah.
I think it was the right call. Reeves turns around. They go a little bit. Nothing really gets done. And then, Jackeye ends up pushing him down over the net. Whatever. It's over. It should have been a big deal. But, of course, social media now the way it is. Everybody's got a phone. Millions were commenting. So it's been trending. Toronto comes back, gets a W. Reeves certainly had other opportunities. He could have gone skated right in front of him and stood there and said, let's go. I guarantee you Jackeye would have acknowledged it. However, I also guarantee you, and I don't know if I said it on your show or other places where I've been speaking in the last 7 or 10 days. I told everybody and their brother Jackeye and Reeves were going to go Game 1, and I guarantee you they're going to go next time they face each other.
But let me ask you this, because and maybe I'm being I don't even know what the word is, naive in this but I see this as okay, it's not a necessity. You know what, Jackeye jumped in, okay, when it was appropriate, right? And they went because it was appropriate. I don't see either one of those guys, even Reeves. I see him as a Chris Neal, right? Able to do it, but not more going out there to throw the body and be a presence than just going out there to throw. Now, am I wrong? Am I just being too optimistic about what coaches want out of these?
Well,
traits?
Ryan Reeves is part of a dying breed. There's only him and literally only him and a handful of guys left in the NHL whose primary role is that of an enforcer, and a secondary role is taking a spot in the lineup on a fourth line,
Right.
or maybe a part of your third pairing D, all depending on I mean, frankly, there really is only him. I mean, there's Tom Wilson and even Jack Eye in Montreal. Tom Wilson has a Stanley Cup ring and played most of that season on OV's line. So what he does on the ice and how he acts, it's ridiculous. There's some of the suspensions, everything else doesn't matter. The fact is, the guy's effective. Yeah. And he's got a Stanley Cup ring, so everybody else can F-O.
Well, you know what? And he makes room for a guy like Ovechkin.
Yeah, so anyway,
I mean, that's the...
You're wondering about game 2?
Yeah.
Well, Reeves and Jack Eye are 1,000% going. I mean, look at the commentary that's come out from Reeves about, hey, I don't mind a guy as long as he doesn't jump me. He didn't get jumped, and he got the gloves off. He got the instigator. If you wanted to pile in the back of the head, he didn't. He gave you half a second to turn around. You threw a couple half shots. Jack Eye threw a couple half shots. On a scale of 1 to 10 as a fight, it was about a 2.5. But social media has driven it up to like a 20.
Right. Okay.
And then the next game, Reeves is out there again, does his thing. I thought effective as hell. What's interesting, Chris, to me, I'll finish on this note and throw it back to you, is so Marcus Foligno, and the Foligno boys are tough boys. Yeah. Okay, they're tough boys. Northern Ontario boys, eh?
No,
they're not, but their dad is.
Their dad is. Well, no, they played up in Sudbury.
Well, they played there. Yeah. So
they summer in Sudbury.
Yeah, there you go. So that's close enough, right?
Absolutely.
They got it in their blood. Yeah. And Northern Ontario, I think, is as tough a part of Canada as there exists, as far as I'm concerned. Not just saying that because I'm sitting beside you. I legit think
and
that's true.
I don't represent the tough part of Northern Ontario. Just so you know, it's like no, it's true. I don't at all. I represent the gun-toting ex-hunters, right?
There you go.
Of Northern. I've left, so I don't do that anymore.
No, right? But it's in your blood.
Yeah,
some of it never leaves your blood. It's not. It's in the Foligno's blood. So Marcus and Ryan, who know each other, because Reeves played in Minnesota, they have a little scrap. Again, on a scale of 1 to 10, it was about a 4. Yeah. Again, social media. Now the debate becomes on Twitter. You got the analytics guys are saying, look at Reeves, his Corsi and his expected this and that and everything else, and it's negative and it's minus and everything else. And the other guys, the hockey guys with the eye test, are going, look at the effectiveness of him out there. Yeah. Very small sample size. But what did I tell you, Chris, in the first show? I said, what Toronto, and this is probably what they'll do ultimately. Look, I don't think he's going to play all 82 games. No. I think they'll platoon this guy at some point. Take him out of the lineup in games where they don't need him. Right. And in games where they feel they do, you can throw him in and he'll have an effect on the game.
Because he's rested and he's...
Yeah, because he's 36.
That's right.
And he's not the top dog. Listen, at the end of last season, he did not want to fight Milan Lucic. He did not want to fight him. Now they're in the same division. Yeah. Your Bruins have brought back your man, Lucic. So it's going to be very interesting. I guarantee you Reeves will be playing that game. Yeah. So we're going to see how it plays out. Anyway, it needed to be discussed by us. Right. Because Reeves has trended on Twitter since game 1 against Montreal, which behooves us, offside with Haas and McGuire, to make a comment on it. And I, for one, am thrilled.
You're thrilled?
I'm thrilled for Ryan Reeves that he's in the lineup. I'm thrilled that him and Jack Eye went. I'm thrilled how Jack Eye responded. I'm thrilled how the Canadians played that game. I'm thrilled they got a W against Chicago. And I cannot wait for the next game against Toronto because I guarantee you they're going to go. Wow. And I can't wait.
And you know what? I am thrilled that we're able to use words like behooves. This. Like we're pretty smart guys.
It's the writer in me coming out.
Yeah,
you know?
It's yeah. Okay. Oh, you know what you're going to talk about now? We're going to talk about the rookies, the rookies, the pressure on them, and of course Bedard, who is the top guy. How do you feel his first week has been?
Outstanding. Yeah, absolutely outstanding. 3 games, 3 points. His ice time has fluctuated between 21 and 24 minutes. Absolutely insane, unheard of. He's playing more than McDavid. He's averaging 4 to 5 to 6 shots on net. He's averaging between 10 and 12 shots toward the net. His ice time, as I said, he's picked up a point a game. He scored in his second game. He's the 3rd youngest player in Chicago Blackhawk history to record a goal. Okay. Grant Mulvey's the 1st. Eddie Olczyk, who I'm sure you remember, is the 2nd youngest. Ironically, did it on the exact same day as Connor Bedard, 39 years earlier to the day. Really? Which ironically was Olczyk scored the same day Mario Lemieux got his first goal.
Really? Okay.
Just to digress a little bit, but Connor Bedard to me has looked exceptional. I've seen a couple things. I've seen him cheat a couple times, And, you know, in terms of body position, I've seen him. I don't know if he should be playing all that much. Luke will adjust here as we go. They're 3 games in. They won their first, a surprise in Pittsburgh. They've lost their next 2, but they've been competitive in Boston. And they certainly, I mean, they hit the post in the dying seconds there. Otherwise, it was 3-3 and going to OT in Montreal, and they might have got the win. So who knows? I mean, Montreal's no shit great team or anything. But I mean,
so what do you?
know,
So
I'm thrilled with Connor.
Okay, so let me ask you this, because here's my impression, and I haven't seen all the games, right? So I'm not gonna, but what I did see, it seems like he's got to friggin' do it himself. Like he doesn't have the support system.
Well, he
around
never
him.
was going to get it.
No, but he doesn't have. I mean, they need to make some trades and get a couple of guys who can play with him.
That's not going to happen. This is what he's going. This is the cards he's been dealt this year, and he's just going to have to go out there with Donato and Radish or like Taylor Hall didn't play last game. I think he's in the lineup against Toronto. Well,
if he listen, they're not going to put he and Taylor Hall on the same line. Are
no,
they?
but they may get some power play. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, the bottom line is his support staff is not going to be. It's just like when Bob Orr started with the Boston Bruins.
Right.
The Bruins still missed the playoffs in Bob Orr's rookie year. Why? Because they were a crap team.
Yeah.
You know, so they missed the playoffs. He didn't have a support staff until they made the trade for Phil Esposito at the end of the 66 at the end of that season. Then the Bruins turned their fate around. It wasn't Bobby Orr, it was Phil Esposito trade that really took them. Mind you, Bobby obviously is playing great too. Same thing with many other superstars. Mario Lemieux didn't make the playoffs till his 5th season.
Yeah.
In the NHL.
Really, eh?
So where was his support staff? They stuck a 40-year-old winger named Warren Young. Or a 37-year-old winger, whatever his age was. He scored 40 goals that year.
Well,
And-
so listen, can a close to 60-year-old fat winger play with Bedard?
Sure.
Can I get a 1-day contract with the Blackhawks?
Absolutely.
You know.
Absolutely.
You know, anyway, that's so. Listen, you were discussing a lot of trivia.
I've watched every second that Bedard's played.
You have?
I've watched every second of all 3 games. If I can't watch it live, I PVR'd. I've gone back and watched it all. He has been outstanding. Not only that, Chris, you got to think about what's going on off the ice. There's 1,000 cameras in his face every game. Look at it this way. They play the home opener in Boston.
Yeah.
Got Bob Orr and Phil Esposito there at the rink watching them. They
Well,
go to
yeah.
Montreal. They give his parents a suite with his agent, Donnie Meehan.
Right.
Who do they put in the suite? Bob Gainey, Serge Savard, Yvonne Cornway. They're all there to sit with Bedard's parents. Like, I mean, the kid's 18, Chris.
Yeah.
You know, he's 18 years old. He has been remarkable. He's going to be remarkable. He is the next one. I cannot wait to watch this kid's career. I'm so thankful we're around to see it. Because when you see these guys come along, and every 4, 5, 6 years, it seems to be the average, roughly, right?
Well, it seems to be a lot more frequent than it used to be.
Well, I'm talking about generational players.
Right.
Like,
Well, no,
Austin Matthews is not a generational player.
No,
you know,
but-
Patrick Kane was not a generational player.
But McDavid is.
McDavid's a generational player. So his first season was 2016. That's
Right.
Okay, it's 7 years ago.
Right.
So that's my point. Every 6 or 7 years,
All right.
we're seeing the next guy. And yes, there's a ton of other great players that do great things. Bedard is generational. He's in that discussion already 3 games in. I can't wait to watch the guy.
Well,
Believe me, I will watch every second he plays this year.
All I know is he's doing better than Alexander Daig did.
Again, you know, as soon as they
I
put
know.
that nurse's outfit on Dag,
Yeah,
it went downhill. That
Yeah.
was a massive PR mistake. We also now know in hindsight after Dag did the op-ed and wrote and said, "Look, I didn't even want to play hockey. I did it to please my dad."
Yeah.
So that's how much talent the kid had.
Yeah.
And then what's he supposed to do? Tell Ottawa, "No, I won't sign that $12 million contract."
Yeah.
Of course, he signs it, and he doesn't have a bad rookie year. His second year isn't horrible. He's still eligible. He goes back to the World Junior, plays on the Dream Team there in '95. They waltz to a gold and smoke everybody, including the Russians, and as they would every year if they had everybody eligible. That's another story, except the left-wing losers in the media, if we have a blip on the international screen, think that we're losing again in hockey because they're idiots. But that's another story for another time. Alexander Dig.
Let's do another story for another time, and we're going to cut to this week in hockey history.
Okay.
Hello, Canada.
Lafleur
coming out rather gingerly. Back to LaFleur. Shoots. He scores!
This week in hockey history.
Hey, welcome again to This Week in Hockey History. I'm here with Liam McGuire. Liam, this is the week of, I'm going to say October 16th to 24th or whatever that is. I don't know how many days it is.
Probably 22nd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me what's happened at this time in hockey history.
Yes.
It seems like it's a busy time.
Busy time, Chris. They're always going to be busy times. Trying to pick something out. I grabbed October 19th.
Okay.
In this particular case, and as we're doing these as each week goes by, I'm finding it increasingly difficult just to leave it to one thing. So I've added in 3 because of the names, and I know you'll love this and you'll respect it because it's Rocket Richard, Gordie Howe, and Bobby Orr.
Okay.
All did something, I think from an anecdotal or statistical point of view, something significant on October 19th. So Rocket Richard became the first player to score 500 career goals on this date, October 19th. 1957.
Was this before or after the Grecian formula?
It was just a tad before he got 2 minutes for looking so good. Because believe me, Rocket got a whole lot more than 2 minutes for all sorts of things other than looking good.
Yeah, there was an altercation at one point.
Yes.
Christmas Day something.
That was Richard Riot. That would be the most infamous one for sure on St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, of all days. How can you forget that?
Well, you know the
Patrick's
French,
Day. That's true. That's true. That was a beauty event, which we'll undoubtedly talk about much later when we get to March.
When we get to March,
When we get to March, we'll probably have a conversation or two about that. But what I like about this, Chris, is it was against the Chicago Blackhawks.
Okay.
And goaltender Glenn Hall, who had only just come to the Blackhawks.
Glenn Hall was a Blackhawk?
Glenn Hall was originally a Red Wing.
Okay,
And then went to the Blackhawks.
He didn't stay long there.
Well, yes, Chicago is where he played most of his career.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I never think of Glenn Hall as Chicago.
Who do you think him with?
Well, obviously St. Louis.
St. Louis,
in the end.
Well,
but
but
you know what I mean. But I'm dating myself. But I always thought he was a. I thought Detroit and St. Louis. I thought he was. And,
wow.
And did he not play in Toronto for a bit?
No,
He didn't.
no. Glenn never played in Toronto. Johnny Bauer
Okay,
was pretty much there the entire time of Glenn's career. Well, just about. Johnny was in the American Hockey League, and then Punch Imlach kind of rescued him, got him from Providence, brought him up to the Leafs. The rest is history. But Glenn played the bulk of his career. Won a Stanley Cup with Chicago in 1960.
Oh, you know what?
He was
you are right,
starting
and
man.
I'm wrong because you know what? I just had a mental image of a picture book I had when I was a kid.
Oh yeah,
with Glenn Hall in net and Hull coming around the net. With the puck, and the ice hadn't been painted. You know when they didn't paint? Back in those days.
Yeah.
And I have this. We had that when I was a kid. I remember that picture, and I do remember Glenn Hall being in net. So, So you know what? But my memory's not your memory,
right?
And I've taken too much time. Well, we got to move on.
Well, that's okay. I think this is all good. You've probably helped some people who maybe thought as well that Glenn Hall only played in St. Louis. I don't know.
Or thought, what the fuck is he talking about?
Glenn Hall, when he set the consecutive... You talk about records and let it be broken. Glenn Hall won 502 consecutive games as a goaltender. That's never going to be broken. If you add in the playoffs, he played 552 consecutive games without a mask. I mean, that record's never going to be broken. Yeah. I digress. Rocket Richard scored his 500th goal against him on October 19th, 1957. And it's the one thing I want to say about it, Chris, is when they show the highlights on Hockey Night in Canada, which they do almost every year, at the start of the season at some point, they'll show it. If it falls on the date, the Saturday, and they show it, and the Rocket scores, and he's being congratulated, and they go to the fans, and there's a fan that's got the sign 500, there's some French language and everything. The clip never usually goes long enough, but if you get the longer version that goes another 20 seconds, at the top of the screen, this is after the Rocket scores, at the top of the screen, skating through the top of the screen, is this big, thick-shouldered, blonde-haired number 16.
Hull.
Bobby Hull.
Yeah.
On the Chicago Blackhawks playing his 5th NHL game.
Only his 5th game.
It's his 5th game.
Really?
And I remember talking to Bobby about it. And he went, Jesus, I'd forgotten all about that, you know? He had forgotten about it. Anyway, October 19, 1957. I mean, the Rocket was first to 50, the first to 500. He retired with 544, which even though he's been passed by 40-some guys in NHL
Right.
history. That still is a number that even guys coming up and playing today. When Sidney Crosby last year
Yeah.
passed Rocket Richard's 544 total,
Yeah.
it was significant for him,
Oh, yeah.
even though he came along all these years later.
Yeah, but you can't listen. There are icons in all sport.
Yeah.
Right? In all sport, in hockey, there are some, and I will give in to the fact that there were Montreal Canadiens who made contributions to hockey.
Man, I'll tell you what. You are really on point today. You are the greatest co-host I've ever had.
And so, yeah, absolutely. You can't. Even I respect that aspect of it. And
Yeah.
you know what? Not even I. Of course I do. And,
Rocket
you know what?
Richard is obviously an icon, one of the greatest in NHL history. So it's a significant fact, not a stat. It's a fact. The
Yeah.
first guy to 500, still a benchmark. 544, still a benchmark, and he did it October 19, 1957. And just quickly, I just got to throw in that. Okay, so Bobby Orr had his first assist on this date. I don't know. I think it's cool. Bobby was the first guy to have over 100 assists in a season.
Yeah.
What he did in his career, greatest all time. I think it's kind of neat. He assisted Wayne Connolly's goal on this date, 1966. I believe they were playing the Minnesota North Stars. And Gordie Howe had his first fight, which
Sure.
again is significant, right? I mean, we call it the Gordie Howe hat trick.
Right.
Right? And he fought a guy named Bill Izanicki, whose nickname was Wild Bill. So, you know, I mean, that's who Gordie fought. He was with Toronto at that time. This was in October 19th, 1946. And Gordie Howe, of course, with the Red Wings, and Izanicki was part of that murderous defense on that late 40s Toronto Maple Leaf team, which we'll save for another time. Okay. But that's some stuff for you on October 19th that really starts and stops with the Rocket. But anytime you get a chance to mention Bob Orr and Gordie
Oh,
Howe.
absolutely. That's been This Week in Hockey History. Okay, we're back. And, now we're going to talk about local favorites, I guess we're going to talk about. Because Montreal Canadiens, their start to the season has actually not been too bad.
Yeah, they're 1-0-1. They'll miss the playoffs this year, but hopefully
But they've played well. I've seen, they were playing all right.
They've played Toronto opening night, and that's
Yeah.
just anything can happen on open night. And they were competitive, and it was an exciting game. And actually, it was fairly exciting against Chicago as well. I thought it was a pretty entertaining hockey game. And 3-0 lead, which they nearly blew. The Hawks got 2 and hit the post in the dying minutes there, could have tied it up. And they didn't. Habs got the W. And their schedule's not that onerous, really, to start the season. So they may get a couple more W's here before the slide starts.
Yeah.
But if you're a Hab fan,
before the slide?
well, it's inevitable, yeah.
You think?
But yes, for sure.
Well,
they can't check their hat. But what's disconcerting is Kirby Doc. Already a guy in the top 6 gets hurt. Second game, they got a guy out. So I don't have an update yet as we're shooting this. I haven't heard yet what the prognosis is. But it was good, clean, hard hit, and he went up on the boards, hit his knee. I don't know what damage got done. Who knows? But the bottom line is, look, injuries happen, but to Montreal they seem to happen all the time. So it's an auspicious start to lose a guy that's been so good for them.
Some would say that that's a curse of the French Canadian hockey entities. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That they're. I'm just doing this to piss you off. Okay?
I don't know. Well, I don't know where that would have started. 20 years ago, they had a run of injuries where they led the league in man games lost as well, and then they seemed to just right that ship and just basically be like the rest of the teams.
Right.
And now they're back the last couple of seasons to leading the league in man games lost. So it's as a Hab fan, very disconcerting to see Doc go out in the second game in just a kind of a fluke play because he got hit. He's a tall guy, so he went up on. Did you see it?
No, I didn't see it.
He went up on the boards, and so I don't know how his knee. It caught the dasher. He went over, so I'm not sure if it twisted or it was a contact. Well, shin pads come like here, so it looked like he got the side somehow.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm not sure exactly.
It could be. You know what? It
could just be a
minor.
bruise.
Yeah, it could be a bruise. Could be minor.
We'll know more today or tomorrow. But anyways, look. Bottom line is the Habs aren't 0-2. So he got 3 out of 4 points to start.
That's right.
Woo!
Yeah.
I mean, this is exciting stuff. As for the Sens, look out, baby.
Well, so
Look
listen.
out.
Like I said earlier, with the Carolina game, was like,
Whatever.
you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, don't tell me.
Yeah, the sky was
But-
falling.
But no, I didn't take that stand. I will admit though that this was that game was just before I went on my diet, so I wasn't so testy.
Right.
So I accepted it, but I was kind of like okay. But since like Saturday's game was
They
it was
absolutely
fantastic.
fully dominated both teams. I mean, if there's any negative, is that they kind of let them hang around for a little bit. But I mean, at the end of the day, they ran away and hid. They dominated territorially, ice time, shots, obviously on the scoreboard, you name it. So many guys look good. Brady Tkachuk looks fantastic.
Yeah.
I want to talk about something. So Tim Stützle's getting screwed.
In
Okay?
what way?
He's getting screwed big time by the officials.
Oh, okay.
And the reason is because when he started last year diving,
Right.
when he dove at the start of the year, and so he's trying to
But
clean
was
that
he
up.
diving or was he like? There's a difference between diving and embellishment, right?
Well, same thing.
No, it's not because if there's generally if there's if diving, you're kind of trying to force a call. Embellishing, you're milking it. I think I honestly, I'm pretty good at the milk, but I don't if someone catches me in the face with the stick,
Yeah.
okay, my hand's going up there. Even if it doesn't fucking phase me, my hand is going up, my head's going down. That's an embellishment.
Okay.
Right?
Okay, fine line. I understand what you're saying
Yeah.
now. Regardless, it's faking.
Right.
Okay, let's go with that phrase instead. So because he did that last year and he got known for it, then he's morphed from that into a whiner. So and a lot of players and a lot of superstars.
And he's a superstar.
And he is a superstar.
Yeah.
His talent is off the charts.
Yeah.
And that line with him and Brady and Claude Giroux is as dominant a line as in the NHL. They
Can
are
you
so
believe
good.
Claude Giroux, by the way? He's 106 years old.
Well, he's 35.
Okay,
So
but he's
it's not
old.
like he's 40.
But he's an old guy,
Yeah.
and I honestly, I was just like, I was
He's in
thinking,
great shape. He's in great shape.
Unbelievable.
And he's enthralled to be here. He's very familiar with the area.
Yeah. Well, he's local. Really.
He may as well be. He moved here
Yeah.
at 13.
You know.
13, yeah,
Yeah.
I believe he moved here from Hearst. So he may as well be local. He's
So
in his
where's
mid-30s.
Hearst?
Hearst is Northern Ontario, baby. Everything circles back to Northern Ontario. I'm telling
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
It's unfreaking believable.
Yeah, but I do consider Giroux a local guy.
Yeah, fair enough. Cumberland, right? So
And,
even still, it's
yeah.
not like Ottawa, but I mean, it's Ottawa proper, I suppose.
Yeah.
Not proper, but it's Ottawa area.
Yeah.
But he's a beauty. He's a great guy. He's probably the guy. Definitely not probably. He is the guy on the current roster that I know the best by far.
Oh, yeah?
I've done a number of interviews with him, and including one last year, which I would put in my top probably 6 or 7 of all time. I was on stage with Claude Giroux at the EY Center out by the airport there, and it was about 40 minutes of him and I on stage, and I would consider it one of the best interviews I've ever
Really?
had the chance to be a part of, and largely because of him, obviously. I'm just a guy asking the questions, but he was outstanding. I'm a big fan. I'm a fan of that line, and but Stützle's getting screwed. He got screwed there yesterday, big time, by the officials, and he's just going to have to. He's got to grin and bear it, work his way out of it, and eventually they'll lay off. But right now, he's getting the short end of the stick. There's no
Yeah.
doubt
Well,
about it.
Crosby
But the Sens look
suffered that.
fantastic.
Crosby suffered that too, right?
Well, he did and he didn't. Crosby came in as a whiner. Wayne Gretzky came in as a whiner. Mario Lemieux became a whiner and then took it to the nth degree. He actually quit playing because
Yeah.
he got sick of all the hooking and holding and
Right.
obstruction. Now, he'd already gone through cancer, and he said, you know what? Fuck this, I'm out. And he bailed. But, and then he came back.
Right.
Because the team was going to go in receivership. He said, well, I'll come back and play and save it, and then we'll figure out what we're going to do. And then they ended up drafting Crosby.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, everybody bought season tickets, so they got a new arena, and everybody's happy.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. But, I mean, the Sens, here's the thing, Chris. You got Tampa with no Vasilevsky. Stamkos hurt. There's 12 guys gone from when they won the Cup in 2021. And this is not the Tampa just from a couple
No,
short years
you're
ago.
right, yeah.
So when you play, and they lost to Detroit the day before. So you've got to, these are wins you got to win, and Ottawa did.
Yeah.
And they look dominant doing it.
They did,
And
yeah.
this is what you need to have because they've had crap starts the
and-
last 3 years.
So you know how, and I hate to go back to the Carolina game, but that whole breakdown, they play really well, and then they It's almost like they have a, they have.
Man, you got to park that. You got to park
gotta
that.
park it?
You got to park that game.
No,
You
no,
gotta park the
no.
Carolina game.
But what I like to see is 3 periods, right? And
Yeah.
and I want to make sure that they play 3 periods.
Well, you
right?
had that yesterday.
Oh yeah, no,
you know.
and
When I say yesterday, Sunday, because this is going to air on
Right,
Wednesday,
this
right?
is-
So,
yeah,
but
but, yeah.
they'll have played. But I mean, great start. The Sens look dynamite, and this is without Norris and Pinto. It's certainly a drawback what's going on there. Norris inability, which I think is mostly mental, in my opinion. It's just my opinion. I have nobody telling me anything. It's just my opinion. I think he's trying to get his head around contact with the shoulder, and the Pinto case is just a total bungling by management. But right now, they're able to skate around it. I'm telling you, this team, and it's largely led by the defense. I'm not saying that I don't think Korpisalo's looking like Craig Anderson, and in his prime back there when Craig in Ottawa came and did so many great things. Yeah. But but just save the savables. To coin my phrase there from JR on the TSN 1200 likes to say, and make the save the savables. But Chris, it's the defense, man. I mean, holy lifting. I mean, Chychrun looks fantastic.
It's funny.
Sanderson.
Someone was saying that they thought Ottawa was showcasing Chychrun.
Who's somebody? Like, who's somebody who's saying that? Is that somebody wandering out of the Legion at 1 a.m?
Well, we weren't.
Who's somebody?
We weren't at the Legion, but we were at the mill, and it was approximately 1 a.m.
Yeah. Showcasing Sanderson. So that anybody saying that should automatically stop watching hockey. Like they need to watch another sport.
No.
Like you can't even qualify that. Even these 20 seconds we're talking about it, or 20 seconds of our lives we can't get back. It's too stupid a statement even to comment on.
All right, you know what? I'm just doing things. I gotta poke the bear. I gotta that's my job, is to make sure that I get things to talk about. Now, and we're gonna get to a point right now. Actually, we're gonna ask you some questions. We're gonna head to our Ask Liam segment of the show.
I'm in.
Hey, welcome to our segment called Ask Liam. This is where I ask Liam questions that viewers have sent in for me to ask him, and then Liam's going to come up with the answer off the top. If Liam doesn't get it right, I get a pitcher of beer.
Yes.
Okay.
Which I will drink mostly.
Okay. So here it is. Now this, and I'm going to paraphrase this question a little bit. Okay. There are a few numbers in the NHL that are iconic. Okay.
Yes.
And one of them being Wayne Gretzky's number 99.
Yeah.
So now I know of one other player personally.
Yeah.
Okay. Who wore 99 either before or around the time.
Yes.
Okay.
I know exactly the one you know.
Okay. But my question is, and this person's question is, is anyone else ever wear 99? This guy's dad said there were other people who wore 99.
Yeah. Well, it's a great question, Chris.
Well, thanks. I'm actually full of great questions.
Especially
when they're provided by people who write.
Our viewers.
Yes.
Are really on point on this one. I wonder if maybe this is somebody who's seen me at a gig, because for the bulk of the past couple of decades, I start most of my gigs with this question.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. How many players in NHL history have worn 99? Because so few people know that there's actually been 6.
6?
There's been 6 guys to wear 99. So just the background on it, and you're right.
So you said you think you know who I know.
Yeah, you're going to say Wilf Paymoff.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, because there's so many people remember Wilf with the Toronto Maple Leafs. When he came over in the trade from Colorado, I believe Dan Maloney was wearing 9. I think it was Dan Maloney or Stu Gavin. It was one of the two. Was wearing 9 in Toronto. He couldn't get it. And Wayne, of course, had started wearing 99 in Edmonton, and so Wilf thought, hey, if he can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
And so he wore 99, and look, Wilf Paymoff was
he was a solid hockey player.
40 goal scorer.
And tough.
Very, very tough. Speaking of Northern Ontario, Earlton boy, and a big family.
Yeah.
And
Home of the bowler trailer, by the way.
really?
Yeah, I used to make the bowler trailer. Remember those round bowler trailers?
Yeah.
Yeah, out of Earl.
Is that right?
Yeah. See, Liam has hockey trivia.
Yeah.
I have useless.
Now you got Northern Ontario trivia. It's almost a show that doesn't go by without something that's mentioned about Northern Ontario, which I love, by the way, because I've gotten to take an affinity to it through Goldie.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, he's a Thunder Bay boy.
He's a Thunder Bay boy.
Yeah. Or no, Hornpain, isn't
Well, he grew up in Hornpain, but he was
Okay.
born in Thunder Bay, or as
Okay.
he calls it, Teabag Bay.
he?
And then he says Teabag Bay, land of the tough guys.
Well,
That's how he refers to Thunder Bay. And you know what? Frankly, if you look at their lineup of guys that play pro hockey, it's kind of hard to disagree with them. By the way, this is a Baltimore Blade jersey.
There you go.
With Goldie, you can't see it. I'll have to get up and turn around. But this is a replica jersey.
well, you know what? And here's the thing, and I know that he's obviously worldwide reputation as Ogie Oglethorpe.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
And
He's
Gold-
the real- he's the
and,
real
and,
Ogie.
and all of that and stuff like that, and tough guys. And there are a lot of tough guys in Northern Ontario. I want to state for the record, I was never one of them. I always tried to diffuse the situation with humor.
yes.
It was like, I'm gonna kill you. Listen. Two guys walk into a bar, right? That was well, the guys on the edge. What are you talking about? Anyway, so yeah, I just so you know, I never fell into that. I used to flail quite a bit.
Yeah,
I
flailing's good.
Well, and
It masks fear.
All right,
Let's flail our way out of here.
So 99.
99. So yes, Wilf came off from Earlton,
Okay,
home of the Bauer.
the bowler trip.
The bowler trailer. Wore number 99 because he said, hey, Wayne can do it, I can do it. Now, at that same time, there was a player on the Winnipeg Jets, formerly of the Buffalo Sabres and formerly of the Cincinnati Stingers in the WHA, named Rick Dudley.
Oh, yeah, Rick Dudley came to Ottawa.
Yeah.
Don't tell me he wore a 99.
He wore 99.
Really?
He wore it for 2 weeks, and he tells the story. He was in Winnipeg. He got Paymont wearing 99 in Toronto, former second overall pick in the NHL. Pretty, like you said, kind of an impactful player, noteworthy player. Got Gretzky doing what he's doing. Rick Dudley puts on number 99. He says, Wayne got more points in the 2 weeks that I wore 99 that I would get in a season, so I very quietly one night just slipped it off and never wore it again. But he did wear 99 for 2 weeks. Now, the other guys, Chris, are way back in the day.
Okay.
And just to give the story very quickly, the NHL, like most pro sports, most of the world, got so clobbered by the stock market crash at
Right.
29.
Okay.
And the NHL, which was a thriving two-division 10-team league, was whittled all the way down to eventually what became 6 teams,
Right.
and then known as the original 6. It was a play
No,
on
really,
words.
they weren't. They were the original 10.
They were, well, originally the NHL started with 5 franchises, and then 4 because one didn't have the money, and then 3 because the Wanderers rink burnt down. I digress. We'll talk about that another time. But the point is that in the 1930s, as teams were folding and moving, including Ottawa, the Ottawa Senators, who moved to St. Louis, became the St. Louis Eagles for 1 season, and they folded 1 season. Anyway, part of the public relations gimmick that the National Hockey League told the teams to do was get the players to wear higher sweater numbers, because the fans are used to watching the National Football League or football, where higher numbers were in vogue,
Right.
and much more accustomed, and they were grasping at straws to try and find any way to keep the fan base interested in the sport as the world is crumbling under the Depression.
Right.
And so they said, get your guys to wear higher sweater numbers. So 3 guys in the
Okay.
mid-1930s
Yeah.
named Leo Bergeau, Des Roche, and Joe Lamb all wore number 99
Didn't know that. So
in
that's
the
interesting.
NHL. And that's how it happened and why it happened.
Okay, so I have a follow-up question.
Yes. Go ahead, sir. You in the back.
Given that they were trying
Portly
to get
individual in the back.
and by portly you mean that side of the ship.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
You know what? I'm being immature here, but given they were going for the larger numbers, did anybody actually wear number 69
You know what? Not at that time. But there has been 2 players to wear 69 in NHL history. Excuse me.
Every time he says 69,
Every time I say 69, it makes me sneeze. Yeah, there's been 2 guys to wear 69, Cedric Desjardins and Mel Angelstad, which I believe now the number's outlawed in NHL history.
Yeah.
But 2 guys did wear it briefly. I believe it was Cedric Desjardins, if I got the name right. Mel Angelstad, I'm 100% confirmed. And they're the only 2 in NHL history. So nobody thought of it back then. But you had guys wearing 88s and 77s and numbers in the 50s and it was numbers in the 40s. It was like totally unheard of.
Right. Well,
but
then
the NHL asked the players to do it.
Then what changed so that because in the 50s, then it stopped. Because there was everybody, it went up. Okay, listen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah,
and we go up. We can go all the way up to the goaltender numbers 30, okay?
Which in the 50s didn't happen. I mean, in the 50s, if your second string goaltender was ever needed, because most of the goaltenders would play the full season,
right?
But, most. I mean, it was 16 league. So let's say in the average year, 3 or 4 out of your 6 starters would play almost all 70 games. It became a 70-game season in 1949-50. So the entire decade of the 50s was played 70 games. Almost the goaltenders played almost every game. If a goalie came in, if you needed your backup to come in and play and dress or whatever, he typically just took the next highest number.
Right.
Which was usually a number in the 20s, which is why Terry Sawchuk's first number with the Toronto Maple Leafs was 24. It was just the next highest number. So 30 and 31 were never thought of as numbers for goaltenders until the 60s.
This leads me to a question that it hasn't come in from anybody. There is a question related that I'm going to ask you later, but this brings me back to our very first meeting. Okay.
Yeah.
It's the Bobby Orr number thing.
Right.
So a lot of people don't know this, and we had this discussion, and it's a bit of a trick question as well. But Bobby Orr actually wore number 30.
He wore 30, 31, and 27. He wore, I believe, 4 different sweater numbers in training camp in 1966 until Junior Langlois suffered the eye injury. Milt Schmidt cut him, and he left the Bruins, and he went to Los Angeles and played his last season pro with basically one eye for the Los Angeles. I believe they were the Sharks of the Western Hockey League, they were called, in 66, 67, which freed up number 4.
Right.
And Orr had made the team, and he took number 4.
And why did he take number 4?
Just because it was the single digit numbers typically went to defensemen.
Right.
There was no other affinity or association to it. He had no big romanticization for Jean Beliveau or anything at that time. Who was wearing 4 as a forward, which was extremely unusual at that time. Or to my knowledge and what I understand, he just got 4. It was just assigned to him. He didn't request it.
Well, so I thought, with respect to that, is that because in junior in Oshawa he wore number 2,
right?
Okay, and 4 was closer to 2. Like, you know what I mean? It was, so and I don't know how much is true on that. Maybe Mr. Robert Gordon, or you could send us a note and whatever. It's offside@hosmaguire@gmail.com.
Well, I'll email.
But
I've talked to him about this before. I just can't remember exactly.
This is the trick question. Remember, this is the trick question, which eventually through a lot of I'm going to say what do you call that? Vehement discussion.
Yeah.
I got my pitcher of beer. Okay. Bobby Orr wore one other number in the NHL.
Yeah, I think when you asked me that, and look, you got in the All-Star game, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
And so I may have phrased it in order to trip you up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could have
You were
been a
successful.
bit of a shit disturber in that manner.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But this is something that viewers would be interested in knowing.
Yeah, well, in those days, unlike today, when you have the All-Star game, everybody gets their own number, and it's just your name's on the back anyway. So if you've got 2 guys sharing whatever number, they just share it. Back in those days, when you played in your first All-Star game, or if you went to, for example, some of the early versions of Team Canada, lots of guys didn't get their sweater number.
Yeah.
It went to whoever had seniority. Rod Gilbert didn't get 7 on Team Canada. It went to Phil Esposito, so Rod Gilbert took 8. That type of thing happened all the time in 72, 76, and beyond. Bobby Orr had to wear number 5.
That's right.
In his first All-Star game because number 4 was
Jean Beliveau.
for Jean Beliveau.
Yeah.
So it was all by seniority.
Yeah.
Guy Lafleur had to wear 16 in his first All-Star game because 10 went to Carol Vadney.
Yeah.
So, those types of things were quite common. I did not understand when you said that. I immediately went to regular season mode, totally, and you 100% got me, legitimately.
Yeah.
You deserved the pitcher of beer, and I was happy to sit down and drink it.
It was, but anyway, so that, but, and I wasn't saying that, but these are the things that are really cool intricacies that ultimately Liam knew the answer to, but I you know what I mean? It's how you phrase the
He
question.
couched it a little bit differently,
It's
threw me
like-
off.
It's
and,
like when your wife asks you, do I look fat in this?
Right.
You know what? You can answer that question in a lot of ways. I would say don't answer that question.
Yeah, I mean, just head for the door.
Yeah.
Probably. Get
So
out
you
of
know what my
line.
wife says? She says I look fat in everything.
You do.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Well, there you go.
Okay, well, this has been Ask Liam. Please send us a note, send us a question, and we'll get Liam to ask it on the show live. And it's at, what was the offside at hosmcguire@gmail.com. All right, we're back, and you'll notice I'm wearing and this is something we should have mentioned at the beginning.
Yes.
I'm wearing yet another Irish sweater, okay, in honor of our trip to Ireland coming up.
Yes.
And now I got the dates now. I have the dates all set for the trip to Ireland.
Exciting.
For the winner of our hockey pool and others who want to join us.
Right.
Okay. And it's going to be cost effective. Like, it's unbelievable. So I looked at going through one of these tour companies, right?
Yeah.
And they have a price, and let's just put it, as expensive, okay? And they got the price, and I go to do this all myself, and I'm looking at it, and I am able to pass the savings on to people because it literally is going to cost us thousands of dollars less than what they charge, because they charge a premium, right? Of
course.
They're there to make money.
Yep.
We're not doing this to make money.
Right.
Okay. So literally, we're saving a couple of grand for each person.
That's huge,
on this trip.
Yeah, massive.
You know what I mean?
That's why I think we're going to get some good numbers.
Well,
to go on this.
I agree, and it also is why
gonna be pretty exciting.
they're going to be buying us drinks too.
Yeah, so they should.
It's just so you know, it's a double red breast neat. That's kind of my.
And I will have one of everything in the bar.
Yeah, one of everything, and a coffee, and a coffee. At the end of the night, a coffee.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Okay, so our hockey pool has started.
Yeah.
Right. And it's all over the map. Like, so the guy who's in first place at day 1, day 2 was heavy Vancouver guy, and then
I haven't checked his lineup, but he sent me a note though.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. It's interesting because he sent me, because I went on the leaderboard for the first time recently, and I saw I saw the name.
Yeah.
And then I get this note, and turns out he's an old Montrealer from the '80s, and he used to watch me on Dick Irvin's Hockey Magazine.
Oh, really?
And he said, "Geez, if I get to Ottawa, I'd like to hook up for a pint or something." I said, "By the way, I'm in the pool," and he gave me the name, and I went, "You're leading."
Oh, really?
You're the leader.
Wow.
So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, anyways, somebody's gonna win a trip, man.
I know. It's going to be
trip.
awesome. So, can I tell you about the trip?
Yeah, do it.
Oh,
Yeah.
well.
By the way, I love the sweater.
You know what?
Love it.
So I've got like a whack. So like as we go through, you'll see like a dozen
Yeah.
of these because that's all I wear all winter. I wear this. I I walk around. This is my thing. Sometimes I don't even wear a jacket. I just walk around with that.
Sure.
Well,
Well, it's only cold here 3 days every winter now.
That's right.
it.
Yeah, the 3 days are
Late January, early
January,
February.
February, March, and April. Fucking you kidding? It's fucking cold here. Why do you
No,
think
it's
I leave?
not.
I go south. I listen. You know what? I was just in Florida for Thanksgiving, for Canadian Thanksgiving, by the way.
Yeah.
Which we celebrate Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The week after, okay, we celebrate Truth and Reconciliation Day.
Right.
So it's like, okay, we were bad, okay?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, hang on a second. It's Thanksgiving. We're all good. Okay. We're celebrating our arrival. Okay. In the United States, they celebrate Columbus Day. They celebrate Columbus coming there.
Yeah.
So it's like they're, you know what I mean? and here's my issue. Okay. I'll say, and I think it's great that we're doing this Truth and Reconciliation Day. It's that it's a federal government day off.
Yes.
They get the day off.
Yeah.
They're the bastards who fucking did this. And they're taking a day off. It's like, you know what? Listen, we realized that we were bad. So what we're going to do in honor of that is take a fucking day off.
Yeah.
It's like only Trudeau could pull that kind of shit off.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? Nobody
Yeah.
else would be like, if I said to my wife, you know, honey, I didn't clean the house, or I didn't put the garbage, I didn't do that, but to make it up to you, I'm gonna watch the game. And you can make me a sandwich. Like,
Make
you
some
know what?
hors d'oeuvres.
Exactly. You know, that just doesn't happen. It's like unfucking believable what our government gets away with. It's like, oh yeah, no, we're having a Truth and Reconciliation Day. We feel really bad about it, and because of that, we're gonna get paid for taking the day off and celebrate our good work.
I know. Well, that all ends in 2025, if not before.
What's 2025?
That's the next election, isn't it?
Oh fuck, no! I don't even know when it's gonna be. You know what? I don't even want to.
Well, that's when it's scheduled to
Yeah,
be.
but here's the thing. The problem with it is that you have such a. Yeah, you're almost done. Are you done?
I'm just about done.
Okay, well that means the episode's got to end soon.
That's right.
Okay, but my thing is this: is that you have people who feel, because we've polarized so much, and there's no middle. There's what we need is a reasonable, facsimile of a person to come up the middle who understands the importance of fiscal conservatism.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And also understands the importance of humanity.
Yes.
Right. And right up the middle, like things used to be. Everyone was in the middle before. You know what I mean? Lord knows I hate to quote Archie Bunker, but Mr. We could use a man like Herbert Hoover.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Great show, although it wouldn't work today.
But still, honest to God, I still enjoy it because it's satire.
Well, I know that, and you know that.
I
But
know.
it would never fly today.
Well, yeah, but
by the cancel culture society today would take one episode and absolutely be picketing.
Right. They would be. But you know what? You talk about the Montreal Canadian fans on Twitter who are idiots.
Yeah.
That's those people. They're idiots. They have no clue.
Yep.
They have no understanding of history. They have no understanding of satire.
Yep.
They have no understanding.
I agree. Preach to the choir, brother.
You know what I mean?
I hear you.
And we go through all. Anyways, we're rambling on, but the point is that we're going to Ireland.
We're going to Ireland, baby.
And we are actually.
And you can come with us.
And that's right. You can come with us. And so just so you can put these dates aside, okay? Dates aside. The first day in Ireland is September the 30th, okay, and then we're leaving like October 7th, 8th, okay. Now we haven't locked anything in because we have to wait for it's an airline delay.
Yeah.
It's another flight delay.
Yeah.
Because they're not ready yet to have their schedule out, which it's going to be the same
Like,
flight
just
that they have all the time.
Just under a year, Chris.
Yeah.
So we got to give it a little time. But you picked those dates, so you
picked
haven't
those
actually
dates.
solidified the. So it's
We have place markers,
Yeah,
like they're
okay.
post-it notes in on all the golf courses.
so
on the golf courses we're going to go to.
approximate within a day, September 29 departure.
That's September 29 departures.
And-
Now, some people, and this is so, I was talking to some people and say, well, I might like to use my points to get over there.
Right.
And all that stuff. And we're going to provide that option for people
Great.
to take their own flight and get
Yep.
over there. But they got to meet us at a particular time.
You have to golf
right?
when we're golfing.
Like, exactly.
Yeah.
And you got to meet us. Well, so we're going to be picked up at the airport. Right?
Yep.
Okay. A private, private coach. We call it a coach.
I love drinking on
you know?
those.
Well, you know what? That doesn't happen. It's not legal. You can't say that. Okay, but yes, there might be drinking. Okay, and you can't. You're drinking on the aircraft. This is the only concern I have is the aircraft is going to be turned around because of a rowdy bunch of guys from Ottawa
No.
or elsewhere.
It survived our Rideau trip in 2011. I drank the whole way across the ocean, so
Yeah.
it survived that. It can handle any trip.
All right then. Okay. So and then we arrive, and then we head off. They meet us, coach, get all our bags, put everything in. Then we go and golf. We actually golf right away.
Beautiful.
Because it's early in the day.
Can't beat it.
Okay. And then you'll be tired by the time we get to the hotel
Yeah.
and everything like that.
A couple of pints and a whiskey, fire that engine right up.
And then the next morning is a great day. You know?
Beauty day.
Yeah, because you're now acclimatized. You're on their time.
Ready to give her.
Yeah, and then we go from there. But we play some amazing courses. And you know what? What we're not going to do? We are not playing the traditional, heavily priced courses okay, of Royal County Down. Royal County Down is going to be closed.
Well, it's going to be closed.
yeah.
So we can't
So
go
Royal
there
County
anyway.
Down. We're not going to do Art Glass. We're not going to do the Dunluce.
Port Rush?
Port Rush. No, we'll do the. We're going to do the Valley at Port Rush. But the reason for that, okay, is that there are gems that I've played in
Yep.
Northern Ireland
Yep.
that are just as nice.
Yeah.
They don't have the name.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, you are going to enjoy these golf courses as much or more.
Yeah.
Frankly. You know what I mean? All the same types of settings, everything like that. But it's going to be an awesome trip.
Yeah,
And
it'll be fantastic. We'll be talking about it over the course of the rest of the hockey season.
absolutely. And if you're interested, you give us an email.
Yeah.
And we will. We're happy to send the information. And the only thing that we're waiting on, honestly, is the airfare thing, and because we want to do a group booking so we can get a better deal for everybody.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
If we can do that. But I'm not sure if the airlines.
What's our email again? Do you put it up on the screen? or
It's
is it,
offside with Haas and McGuire at gmail.com. So offside with Haas and McGuire at gmail.com
Okay.
is the best email.
Flip us a note.
And I'll pop it up there. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, I think we're done for today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pint's done, so-
His pint's done,
Yeah.
and this has been offside with Haas and McGuire. I'm Haas.
I'm McGuire. G'day.